my question for you is, would you ever have a staunch Democrat?
Oh, yeah. That's the goal.
That's
hold on,
my sister.
Yeah, go.
That's my sister's. Okay, so my sister, Rosa. Sorry, Rosa. But no, she doesn't care. This is whatever.
Right.
You know.
I'm winking. You can't tell because we're flies.
No, I can't. But Rosa loves Joe Rogan. And you want to know what she told me? The main thing she loves about him is she loves him. She goes, he's not afraid to have someone that has opposite views of him on his show. She said that's the number one thing he loves.
Which is the only goal of this thing.
No, but
now, can I be honest with you?
99% of the podcasts out there are people having their friends on there.
Which is what this has become. You want to know
why?
why?
Still, we can have in-depth conversation. We don't come on here and just attack.
I'm making an entire different YouTube channel based on all the advice of Mr. Beast, who is on Joe Rogan. I'm gonna do it all the way.
I take it you like fuck with Mr. Beast.
No, dude, he is the most subscribed person on YouTube.
I know that, but don't you feel like,
dude, you gotta listen to what he says.
Okay, I do,
right?
but dude, do you know how he got his like start? I'm asking you. I have no clue.
You gotta listen to that podcast, dude.
Because
if you don't listen to that and take it as a roadmap, even whatever you're going into, if you were to have listened to the Mr. Beast podcast with Joe Rogan, the whole thing was, this is what I wanted more than anything. And my mom said, you either got to go to college or you get out of the house. And I knew I would not be able to afford to make this jump while not having a place to stay.
Yeah.
So he lied to his mother, who he loves more than anything, and told her, I am going to college.
Yeah.
And instead was going to a parking lot where he would Skype with like 8 other YouTubers, and they would spend 8 hours a day, dude, going through every trending video, everything with the most views, everything that's going viral. What was going on with the thumbnail? What was going on? They would analyze every bit of it, of where people would trail off or click off. Well, if people keep clicking off where you're sneezing here, well, then you got to stop sneezing here. They have, so what it is, what I've learned, one, you can't compete with a guy that rebuilt Squid Games. But like the only reason he was able to do that is because he was making piddly videos at home, but knew the algorithm. There's a science to it.
Money?
He is taking every money he makes from YouTube and plugs it right back into it.
Because I was going to say, dude, so the first
snowballing.
videos I saw from him, sorry, I don't know if you want to
No.
start saying it. The first videos I saw from him, though, dude, so they're feel-good videos, and who doesn't like a feel-good video?
When anybody could watch it. The same person that goes orange person bad and camel lady dumb.
Dude, anyone.
Both of them are watching.
But also, his videos give you the feels. Like, dude, one of the first videos I saw from him.
Taking care of a homeless guy.
And then after that, this kid buys like 20 used cars, and he like goes around and gives them all away. It's like,
Wait, because that same video
it like makes
is making him $2 million.
Exactly.
And he's taking that $2 million and putting it into rebuilding. You know, dude, he did one where, and now here we are. We're sitting here talking about Mr. Beast the whole time. And this was fueled by the same video of him in his bedroom talking about whatever nonsense. Dude, he did an episode. I don't remember what it was. It just came across my feed that one time. I was like, after he was on Joe Rogan, I just was like, all right, I want to learn from this guy. He literally says in the podcast, like, all my videos are out there of telling you what to do.
Yeah.
So go find them and do it or don't. Like, they're out there.
I feel like
it's not a secret. So he goes and he, sorry, what were you going to say? And then
it's funny. I don't know if you saw like that Kim K video that came out that everyone was pissed about, where she was like, just go fucking work. Just go do it. Maybe she would have presented it a little bit better and like said it like Mr. Beast, like, yo, the algorithms are out there that you have to just put in the work. Would have been taken a lot differently.
Dude, no, you know what? Here's the thing. I want to compare two different people. Two different people that were sitting across from the same desk from each other. Mm-hmm. Joe Rogan, I'm sorry, is at the top of his platform. Mm-hmm. He definitely doesn't have as many subscribers or watchers or whatever. You cannot beat 91 million subscribers. That's on YouTube. Whereas he probably has 50 million views on Spotify, right? Mm-hmm. So Mr. Beast, with the most subscribers on YouTube, 91 million or whatever, 92, who knows where he's at now. It's just keeps going. And then you have Joe Rogan, who's at 50.
But Joe Rogan.
But if you compare those numbers, you go, this guy is double this guy. So you got to listen to the other guy. But the reality is they're two different platforms. And also, I'm of the belief Joe Rogan has probably profited more net than Mr. Beast.
Okay.
So it's two different mediums, but they're both number one. You have the number one podcaster of all time in human life versus the number one YouTuber of all time in life. So the two of them are, like a 50% margin across from each other. And Mr. Beast would look at Joe Rogan and say, you got to focus on the thumbnail. You got to focus on make it feel good. Giving away stuff makes the viewer feel good. No politics. Stay away from the opinions and the bullshit. I am bipartisan. Every person watches me because everybody wants to own a chocolate factory.
Yeah, exactly.
So, which is the next thing he's doing. So Joe Rogan responds and goes, wait. I have half as many viewers, twice as much profit, twice as much power. Do you know how many times CNN has talked about Mr. Beast? Do you know how many times CNN has talked about the one Joe Rogan? So
almost every day now.
Yeah, because he's the biggest threat they got right now. So what's funny is Joe Rogan also. So here's the question, and this is where the reason I think in this lens is because I'm trying to do something that isn't, how many Costco goods can you fit in this triangle and I'll pay for it all. That's not this channel. I want to talk about universal basic income. Challenge me. Let's have a conversation.
Exactly.
That's going to piss 50% people off.
But that's going to make them watch it at the same time.
How does a Joe Rogan get to talk about the things Mr. Beast would tell you to stray away from? How does a Joe Rogan also get to accomplish double and have a significant effect without focusing on the thumbnail and, posing the question at the beginning and having the big reveal at the end and keeping them in touch? When he didn't spend 8 hours a day in a Skype chat call trying to figure out how to hack an algorithm. And yet I would argue, has reached higher heights. Why? Is it because he was always true to himself? Is it because he caught the wave of a platform before anybody else and he was a pioneer?
He's evolved at the same time, though. That's the thing. But
he's riding a wave. You have to admit his momentum is a wave. I can tell you, I watched his podcast when that number, on the day it was posted, you watched it live, when it was its show for that week, it was at 100,000 views. Dude, this snowballed so fast. And I didn't even reach him at the beginning. There was plenty of it before even I got there. I'm not some hipster. What's crazy about this dude, though, is, yes, he's evolved. Yes, he's changed. But he definitely caught this all at the perfect time.
Oh, 100%.
So there's a perfect storm. He's the perfect concoction of appeal to the listener, comedic relief, humbleness, but strength and something to follow behind.
So true.
But truth, right? Now, here's the thing. I want to back up to 2 years ago, over 2 years at this point. Milo Yiannopoulos, before he was canceled, when he was still relevant, he was on Joe Rogan. He was reaching a rocky path. People were trying to cancel him. And then he's on the Legion of Skanks podcast. And he goes, listen to me now. Joe Rogan's podcast will be extinct in 6 months. Mark my word. Now, here's what's crazy. They laughed at him. The reality was, as a staunch Joe, I was annoying people to the nth degree because he was the science. I heard this psychologist say this on Joe Rogan. Everything I said was like, and I'm catching it like, geez, wow, I say this a lot. So even Joe Rogan, as an avid Joe Rogan fan, I'm losing interest. It was at a period where he was pandering to YouTube. You could hear, as someone that listened to him for 6-7 years at that point, you're hearing a human being curb his belief that like, dude, I've listened to 1,000 hours of you. Exactly. I know you now. You're lying to us. Enough people were picking up on that. Now, he did a huge course correction. and bought himself some freedom. But that freedom's came at a cost.
Yeah,
now, even that freedom, that avenue he sought out for freedom, is self-imploding. Coming at him going, we got to delete these episodes.
Yeah.
We need you to do an apology. All of this is, I'm just saying, I agree with you. He has evolved. Definitely for the better. Mm-hmm. The reality is, I don't know if all of it is entirely for the better, because he has definitely censored himself in many ways.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about if somebody were to come in here right now and ask me would you sell your soul to have it all? And the options are now you either take it all and your children's children will be set for life, or we cancel your existence and you'll never work again. To force your hand. And, you know, you want to stand up against that type of stuff. A thought I had that I was going to raise, but man, poor kid, I chewed his ear off to the point where, like, we need to start this thing finally.
And now we have, right? Officially.
So, well, we need to do an intro here soon. We got to bring it in, so we'll wrap this up. But when I was listening to, dude, big Joe Rogan fan, the best thing of his show used to be the Fight Companions, where he would do a live during a UFC fight. And it was the only times he would have Eddie Bravo on. He had Eddie like a couple times as his own solo guest. But for the most part, you only got Eddie Bravo when everybody was on. Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub. You had Brian, who was like the skeptic of it all. Brendan, who was pretty much in the middle. Yeah. And Eddie, who was off the flat earth, just like in Mars. Eddie didn't have everything right. I can concede that for sure. But, dude, he was thinking more than any of them. I resonated with him more than any guest on that show ever. And I can't say that it's because I agree with everything he says, but he would always pose this perspective that they would just brush off. He'd go, they tell you that there's a cell, you know, with the atoms. You're made of atoms, and the same atoms that are making up this table make up you, and it's this whole thing. You're all the same, and da-da-da-da. It's like, how do you know that? Like, the person who is a savant in this field, and we rely on the day-to-day on so many other people's knowledge. Most of your reality that you put with a capital K as knowledge is really just a belief. You don't know, but it operates every day. You don't know that the ground tomorrow won't instantly on a switch become transparent and we fall through it.
I think about that all the time.
Like how, and then you go ahead and explain that. You know, you can't. Well, it's because we're not there yet. All I'm saying is, at the point at which that happens, what do we do?
Exactly.
So we damn the people who question, like, listen, I'm still going to operate in a world where this thing is circular, there is a sun, we all rotate with each other, and that's what gives us waves on the beach. But I'm the asshole when I start questioning, like, why can't somebody go to Greenland? Like, why do you need to have an escort in Antarctica? There's something weird there, right? Like, you know what's funny is every time I go off the reservation, which is not allowed to be said anymore. But when I go off the deep end with you and I start saying some crazy shit, notice how it always ties back to like real law. Before we were talking here, you could literally go and find from the Freedom of Information Act the things that I was talking about. You could find them on paper. Everything I said was fantastical, right?
There you go.
Boom, you heard it. So, now I totally lost what I was saying. Oh, but what's very interesting about it all is it always ties back to something that is very real. You can find in a book that you cannot go to Antarctica without an escort. And there is the center of Greenland.
I didn't even know that.
Is entirely shut off from humans. Now, what do they say? They go, well, dude, there's nothing there. It's just ice. It's just a
we got to preserve it. Yeah.
No, sorry. Oh, man. retroactively go back. We're going to insert every time I say Iceland, me right now saying Greenland. Greenland. Dude, they screwed us up in grade school, and I think that was on purpose, too. They convinced us, like, Iceland's not ice, and Greenland's not green. It's covered in ice. God, they screwed with my head. Greenland's the problem. It's covered in ice, and they go, the center of Greenland is inhabitable, so you wouldn't want to go. You can't go. You wouldn't live there, so you don't want to go. Go to Google Earth. You can see everything except the center of Greenland. Whole middle of Greenland is just... Try it. You'll go home.
Or what?
I want the viewer right now to stop the video, go to Google Earth, and try to find the center of Iceland. Jesus. The center of Greenland. And when you do so, you will see that even if it is white,
what's it look
it's
like?
A repetitive image.
Okay.
So one, there's some places where it's just a repetitive squared image, or it's just a pixelated gray-white, just off the zone. Can't see
I have
it.
a question. What do you think there is there?
I think there's some nefarious in Iceland, or Greenland, and
every single time.
Well, now I've been bitten by the bug. It's ruined.
Yep.
I don't want to get down that road because, dude, then this is going to be like episode 57 where I'm just going full-blown schizophrenic again, and you got to give me a tinfoil hat. If you think I'm wrong, you think I'm crazy, then you need to go to Greenland and prove me wrong. Like, that's the challenge. Just like Alex Jones said, Alex Jones does not believe in a flat earth. So when they did a podcast with Eddie, and Eddie's full-blown back to Eddie Bravo, because I want to finish this point.
Yeah.
Eddie Bravo's 100% of the belief of a flat earth. Alex Jones, who's the craziest of everybody, does not believe in a flat earth at all. And he's got a platform and a money backing that he can actually take action. He goes, Eddie, I will pay for a naval ship to take you around the world, if not to find the wall. You say there's an ice wall, I will pay. Eddie goes, I'll only go if you come with me. He goes, there's no way I'll go. Yeah. Why? Because I think he low-key thinks they'll get shot down for taking the attempt. He doesn't even want to. He's like, Eddie, you go prove it. But that's not his position. His position is, I don't believe in any of this, and you would sail around the world and prove yourself wrong.
Okay, screw sailing, though. What about flight?
Well, dude, back to Eddie Bravo's point about like a cell or medicine or all of these sciences that you rely on. Like, how do I know Advil does what you tell me it does? All I know is when I take it, the headache's gone.
Or
right?
How does one person
So I'm operating on Dasani.
Exactly.
I need water. I drink the water. It hydrates me. But then there's an unknown science, so when you dig into it, it's got like a shitload of sodium that drains yourself of the salt, so then you need more water. So if you don't see it, you're not perceiving it, it doesn't exist.
No bottled water is real water. Just remember that.
So let's get to, so you brought up flights. A theory that they, a response, a theory to that is that, how do you know that this is the picture they drew, that you went from this spot to this spot in this line? Like, if you went around the world, they tell you, to save time, we go like up and over. Like, dude, they could easily just be going like in a circle.
Exactly. No, that's when you're up 30,000 feet.
You don't know where the hell you're at.
Nobody does.
It all looks the same.
Exactly does.
So, wrapping up, Eddie Bravo. It is wild, dude. Eddie Bravo has not been on. Before the election, he goes on this huge rant about Trump, and the internet went after him. The internet went after Joe Rogan. What are you doing spending 3 hours on this fight companion talking about Trump and bolstering Trump? Magically, they never do a fight companion again. The term fight companion is sold, I imagine, but the rights are at least handed over to Brendan Schaub, and now his personal channel, I think it's Thick Boy or whatever, one of his personal channels is doing Fight Companion.
Below the Belt.
Sponsored, I think it is Below the Belt, or in replace of, whatever. And it's Brian Callen, Chris D'Elia, and a special guest. No Joe Rogan, no Eddie Bravo. So I've been wondering for a while, like, where's Eddie? Why not Eddie? Are you mad at Eddie? Like, are you done?
Are you mad at Eddie?
Did you cut Eddie out because he talked about Trump too much? Like, what happened here? Then I come to find out the reason he hasn't been on Joe Rogan is by his own personal choice. He has chosen not to go on Joe Rogan's podcast because he's worried about getting hacked, dude. Like, he does not, they'll off me. It isn't worth it. I'm not getting the note. So back to what prompted me going off of this tangent to begin with. When we were talking about, you know, the guy that comes to you and goes like, hey, you know, will you sell your soul to be everything? Here's a guy that has chosen, I mean, he's with the richest and most powerful people.
The other side.
And he goes, I am going to be regular before you kill me.
Yep.
And so he's opted out of it. He's still friends with Joe Rogan. He still runs his, 10th Planet Fitness jiu-jitsu shop, and yet he is completely opted out of this. So, I don't know, dude. It's just a lot. All I'm saying is there's people that have done it, and it's weird living this whole, Iliad about Eddie Bravo, that it's like, this dude was my favorite from the beginning. He's the one that I resonated with the most. Not that I agreed with him, but that where he was coming from was the most Socratic, the most philosophical, just the most looking for, I don't want to be right, I want to learn type of perspective.
Exactly.
And the smartest people in a society acknowledge that they don't know anything. It's because they're the ones best suited with the perspective of how little they truly know. The ignorant person is the one that thinks they know it all. So, to me, I had an appreciation from where this guy was coming from. And the fact that he is, the choice was pulling your, this doesn't need to come back to my son. This isn't worth the payoff.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just thought it was virtuous. But we miss you, Eddie.
I love it.
You ready for this thing?
Yeah.
Dude, what we've been talking for like 25 minutes. We haven't even gotten into the episode longer.
Yeah, exactly. Bunch of random shit.
So I love that term, think tank. Think tank. I mean, you know what a think tank is? Like, how's a think tank go, James?
Yeah, they got cancel culture nowadays. You gotta watch what you say. It's getting real scary out here.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if I can take the conversation here, but we might as well. It's the Rethink Tank. Looks like you had a little bit too much to think here in the Rethink Tank.
This hat's so tight, dude, but I just literally needed to wear it for the tribe. I'm gonna shop it.
That's it. Because,
Made the tribe never done.
well, and if you're listening to the Rethink Tank, you aren't cheering for the Guardians, so that's how that goes. Dude, it cracks me up every time now. I can't get it out of my head. Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining me again. It's another special episode where now you get to actually hear James talk. The last time, it was episode 57. That's my special episode, so it is what it is. But now we had to bring James back on so we can liberate. We want to liberate the audience from their ignorance. We needed to bring the real legend on. So, in light of that, James, thanks for joining me. This is my buddy James Bonamer.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it. Honored to be back.
Can't wait. And the dude, you see, a lot of people are like, I'm honored to be here. Most of the time, it's just speak. It's just words. I know it to be the case because you brought the chief. When you went out, and we brought the Chief Wahoo sign out just because of it, because it wasn't worth sacrificing our chief. Guys, I just want to leave you with one thing. Just one thing. If you go to a Guardians game this year, because, James was laughing about how it makes me passionate. The reality is I get passionate because I'm trying to persuade
which I
other
love,
people.
by the way.
All right, but dude, I need other people to understand that if you go, new segment coming out soon, another So Here's Where I'm At, about how you vote with your views, vote with your dollars. I need you to know that when you go to a Guardians game, you are saying with your vote, with your purchase, with your view, that I am sorry I was racist for the last 28 years of my life. Whatever, I'm 28. There's pictures of me at 4 in a Chief Wahoo Speedo. Man, I hope I find that picture and have it up. I mean, the reality is this came from nothing but a place of purity that I shared with family, with my parents, with the Harpers. Like, the amount of memories I shared with my father, it was nothing but praising a symbol for something to be prideful in history. Joe Sacalexis.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
For you to then turn that onto that entire time you hated Native Americans.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
So ignorant. That's so much more. And what the whitewashing does, because that's all it is, you're not helping anybody. You liberated nobody by deleting a red logo.
Exactly. It wasn't even an actual Indian either. It was a cartoon animation.
Right. Exactly. And all you did was erase more Native Americans in our culture.
Exactly.
Like, as if when you go, we need to replace Annie with a black girl because they're underrepresented. You know what you don't go and do? Wipe away more black girls, right? So when you go, there's not enough Native Americans, and the ones that are here are racist. What are you doing? I guess I answer my own question with the statement. What are you doing wiping them away? You're going to have less Native American representation? Well, we want these wiped away because they're racist. The question is, do you truly think it was? This is what it boils down to. And when you go and have your digital barcode scanned to enjoy the, beautiful July in the middle of Cleveland for, a $2 beer Friday, when you get that barcode scanned, are you willing to go, well, I admit the entire time it was coming from a place of hate? Because it inevitably is tied to that message. So do you want your message to be, I'm sorry for the last 28 years of my life when I was unconsciously oppressing you? Or do you, as hard as it is, because damn, dude, I didn't miss a game. That's what got me through law school is I watched every baseball game. It took us to this close to beating Chicago in the World Series. That was some of the funnest baseball I ever watched.
For that damn rain delay.
And I'm sorry, dude, but what's more important is when you can say, I'm willing to give that up for my message to be heard, that you have an empty stadium. Or nobody's buying your jerseys. Here's the deal. We get it. You're going to go. And when you go, you're going to wear Indians gear. But that's just slowly moving the flagpole. And then soon you'll be the minority. And then, more and more people have Guardians gear there because they're giving away free Key Bank shirts with Guardians shit on it. And by the time it's August, you're the only one in the stadium without a Guardians shirt. So I'm going to hit the shop. And now guess what? You have reconfirmed, dollar bill, y'all. I'm sorry, I was racist for the last 28 years of my life.
Meanwhile, right down south, the Atlanta Braves are doing a chop,
But what's racist about it? Wait.
There's nothing racist
about it.
Are
Are you doing
That's
that
the point.
because you go,
there's nothing racist.
Hate people that do this? Or are you going, this shit is fun,
and not even that. This is badass. Let's get the team fired up.
This is fun, dude.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, dude, it's just a shame that we've gotten to this point. And the reality is it does not stop until you stop. I mean, I definitely cannot emphasize enough to the viewer, when you are getting that barcode scanned, I hope you hear this rethink tank where you just go, yeah, I'm sorry for the last 28 years I was racist. Do you believe when you were catching that foul ball that the first baseman flipped you, that you were coming from a place of hate? And dude, baseball has now done everything they can to make sure I am damn well pleased not watching a baseball game. The fact that, one, they go, well, we're just putting nets up so you, the fan, can't get a foul ball. But it's just to first base because we can't keep the 16-year-old girls off of their iPhone. And they're getting clocked in the face. It only happened once statistically. Statistically, in a ratio, it's like this practically never happens for how much balls go flying in the stadium. But we're going to put a net to first base. Then you know what we're going to do? We're going to take it to the foul pole all the way down. Go ahead. I want to hear your point.
I just said that's part of the thrill sitting along the first or third base line.
Exactly, dude.
If you get a liner above your head, oh my God, Your
Dude,
heart starts racing, you know?
I got a question for you. Did you know anybody that took a mitt to the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Do you
know
think they did that to, like, I don't know, eat off of it like a plate? Like, what do you think the purpose served when being a viewer? The reality is, for the true fan, the person that you can't waver, you've slowly made the experience worse. Soon enough, you'll have the entire place netted out because it's just too much of a liability. Not enough people are paying attention.
Oh, no more home runs. They're gonna put a net up around.
Right. Let's also talk about when you had Verlander for the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
He is arguably one of the best pitchers, and he was the best at in his prime. When there were all these scandals going on just before the Astros got caught and stuff, he goes, I am throwing faster than ever in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am of the belief that the MLB is corking the balls so there's more home runs.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who's getting older and is only acknowledging that he's getting better in a way that he says, I believe they're cheating. He said that.
Yeah.
You got to believe this stuff's going on. We know that they want more home runs. We know that, dude, I'm sorry, but an avid baseball fan knows that a good baseball game is like a 1-0 run count. Like, that's it. It's been a nothing but a pitching fight. A pitching shootout. That's incredible. That's exhilarating for the fan that likes watching it and knows what they're watching. But if all you're going for, and these are the people that will inevitably go to the game, they go to the game because this means nothing more to me than a July day with hot dog day. It's dog day or dollar dog
night. Yep.
So because it's dollar dog, I get the beer for $2, and damn, is it gorgeous in Cleveland. I mean, oh my God, dude, some of those games. If you're going for that alone, then who cares what the name is? Call yourself the Teletubbies. I'm there. I want the dollar dog. But for the person who's bringing the mitt because they want to catch a foul ball, you got rid of that. You made it less fun by making it a home run derby because the special ed kid can't keep his attention on the field. Then we need to shorten the game. This shit's too long. The most egregious thing they did was put a man on second in extra innings.
Oh my goodness.
Is a crime.
Still going to be a rule this year?
Oh, it's not going away. We got to keep the top. Hey, we got to keep you focused. Keep
Not
watching,
even that,
big
all
boy.
right, but another thing too, Rob Manfred, the beautiful woke commissioner of the MLB, he where was the All-Star game going to be last year when they moved it?
To us or what? That
No,
was in
no,
2019.
no. They moved the MLB.
Georgia, because they voted on abortion.
Yeah.
You have voted
they
the way
moved
we
it.
didn't like.
Not even that. They move it from a city that just implemented these voting laws, right? This and that, and that's why they moved it, right? Because of the new voter ID law. Yeah, they moved it to a city with stricter voter ID laws.
Dude,
can you explain that to me?
Because there's no law. It's all that goes back to what we were talking about.
Explain that to me.
It's all a show. None of this is real.
Zero sense. Yeah.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again, but you know what I'm talking about, James, and we're not doing that.
Yep.
Anyway, I love baseball. This is going to be a tough summer, and it's going to be a test of will. It truly will, because I know that all the people around. I mean, this has got to be how vegans feel, right? Like, everybody around me is going to be like, dude, this steak is juicy. And I'm going to be watching them just devour it and be like, medium rare. Medium rare, that shit looks juicy. So all I'm saying is it's going to be a test of will. And that's why I feel like it's like everything else. You try to get your friends to do it too, so it makes it easier. Like, hey man, you should go on a diet. Like, you need a diet. Because watching you eat chocolate cake is not easy for me. So I'm trying to convince you, the viewer, aka my friend. Come on. like when I get your Snapchat at dog night in June and it's like 75, I'm going to hate that I'm at home and not watching it. Back to when I was trapped in Harrisburg in law school, like I said.
Well, the worst part's going to be if they're good.
Dude, baseball was every day.
Think about if they're good.
I'm hoping that the zebra still has its stripes and we got a bunch of skeevy, cheap bastards running the thing. Because, man, if we got to go. Here's the thing.
Sure do.
If you make the investment to sell out and make this change, you got to shell out all the cash to resurrect this franchise. Because here's the deal. Back to my point. It's one thing to say, I'm not eating meat. But, man, when they pull out that filet and that thing is sizzling, it's like a steak on a stone. It's just literally live in front of you. Just like, how do you say no? So, like, when you go out and buy a bunch of people, but here's the deal, dude. The season was supposed to start by now. And they didn't make those moves, so... When I say zebras got stripes, zebras got stripes, dog. And that's been our team. So it's also easy going, flipping the burn and turning around. This wasn't worth sacrificing our chief.
Exactly.
Because the reality is, you've done nothing to retain me as a fan. You have sold me out to die always. If you couldn't come back with a strong team following losing to the Cubs,
oh man,
you're cheap. And you don't want to retain the fan.
And I was looking at our roster this year. Yikes.
And again, back to my point.
Yikes.
The season's here.
Yikes.
So these are moves that were supposed to have happened by now.
Exactly. Can you name... I mean, I know you don't follow them anymore, but can you...
Do we still got
Jose?
Jose?
Can you name...
I think we still got Jose.
Yeah, we still have him. Yeah.
Dude, getting rid of Mercado. You lost me. I loved him, man. He was my favorite. He wasn't the best. I get that. The fans out there like, I get that. The guy had character. He was a kid. And
he was young.
Darn it, he was fast. That was the fastest player on our team. And guess what? Now you've got a big chode that's your big home run hitter, Jose, and he can't hit a ball to save his life. He's a letdown.
He goes through incredible slumps.
Yeah, dude, the waves of that guy. There'd be like 4 games in a row where he had the
that's
walk
why
off.
I feel like he wouldn't be in Cleveland anymore if he was that good. Because if he was consistent, because someone would pick him up. You tell me New York wouldn't swoop him from us, offer him $200 million. The guy's playing for like a $30 million contract right now, and he's in the MVP talks every year. Like, you got to look at him and be like, what's going on here?
Let's go back to that point then. Another pillar that just is like baseball, I was kind of half out the door by the way it's structured to begin with, because there is truly a problem to not having a salary cap. It's inevitable. Why? Because if you're a franchise owner that doesn't hit the franchise cap, the salary cap, then there's revolt. Like everybody revolts against you. You have to, essentially. Yeah. So now it's everybody's playing with the same pieces. Now it's a competitive game for everybody. But you'll take an entire city. Again, Cleveland was supposed to be Chicago until there were a lot of political moves made and they reverted that development to Chicago. And now
Cleveland pretty much is a mini Chicago.
Right. But what was the pillar of like American development is now a joke. Dude, Andrew Schultz, perfect example. A comedian that's coming to town who's literally like a favorite of mine. He's so huge, you have to pay like $180 just to get a back row in a theater. Yeah. It's a giant thing. Dude, he goes, Cleveland, screw you. I've sold out every city but Cleveland. And then just goes on to tear us apart. I'm a comedy guy. I can take jokes about they were funny. But the other truth is, I don't get to leave here. Like, this is my place. Yeah. This is what I resonate with, and this will always be my place. So when the whole thing, the relationship is buy my tickets, and you're the shittiest city because you're the one city that I didn't sell out in, and so here's a list of why you suck. The reality is, yeah, man, we suck. But guess what? You, before the podcast, admitted you're having a blast cheering for the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we're a joke, but we're not a joke.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good way to put
Cleveland,
it. Yeah.
a place to live, is a joke. Cleveland in this sport is a force. Who knows what the Browns are thinking right now? Holy hell. But what was fun past couple years is we were no longer a joke.
Yep.
We were a force.
Yep.
That whether or not you were going to beat us, boy, you better prepare because we're coming.
Exactly.
That can't be the case in baseball unless you have a giant market, snowballing cash, and owners that are willing to dish it out. So again, I am of the belief that to become a New York, a Boston, in terms of salary money, you have to spend it at first.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
I'm not buying your jerseys until my team is killing it.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I want to do nothing but talk about them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're not willing to pay the cash to get there, then you're never going to have the play money to just go out and grab, pick the guy. You can't just pick a Verlander. We want to
Exactly.
cherry pick a CC Sabathia.
Especially now, though, when pitchers are going for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right. And that was CC, who was just picked from us
Yep.
because we couldn't afford it even if we wanted to.
Look,
Could
Lindor picked
we
from
could.
us.
We just chose not to.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the no salary cap is the people, like the ones that peddle the money, are 100% victim to whatever entity is running it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're willing to shell the cash to be an Oakland, then like you're gonna have hot teams.
Yeah.
But like if you're gonna have Dolans who just sit on the money, suck it totally dry, you're never gonna become New York. So you got 1 year, flash in the pan, make it happen against Chicago, and you don't do it. The fact that you just roll over how much money they made that year to roll over the next year and not try to make moves to continue.
Yep.
I will definitely concede that they were stalemated. They didn't get much worse, but it's like you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes 10 years to get back to that one
10,
flash in the
you could
pan.
argue
20.
20, yeah. I mean, a lifetime. I mean,
For you to not
That's
dish
why-
it out,
that's-
that's why a Lindor goes, I'm out.
that's why I was telling you the Cavs are so much fun to watch, too. I mean, when have they been good their entire franchise's career besides LeBron? This is the first time. There was
Early
yeah,
in the 90s,
I was
early 90s.
What was there? The
they were
Miracle
better.
in Richfield, but like, dude, they were playing at a
It was a different
exact-
sport then.
different time. Exactly, very different time.
So again, baseball, it just feels like they have done, and then they go on a strike. And then it felt like back to the vegan metaphor. It's like, they took everybody's meat away. So even if they wanted it, they can't have it. Yes, like everybody's stuck.
Yep.
Being a martyr with me.
It got resolved faster than I thought it would, though. Because
Much faster
back
than I thought
on,
it would.
yeah.
Because, dude, money talks.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go a year and a half with cardboard fans,
Exactly.
you got to start taking cash where you get
Oh
it.
my God. That was hilarious.
What a period in life, dog.
I know, to see those cardboard fans in the
You
stands.
could pay money to have yourself be a
Mm-hmm.
cardboard.
And it was expensive, too. It was like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah!
Hundreds. Yeah.
And you won't end up seeing yourself
Mm-hmm.
just for that one chance that the home runs hit at your seat.
Yeah. And that was all because of COVID, and now you haven't heard of COVID. And
Because look over here,
God
Birdie.
knows.
Ukraine,
Yep.
Ukraine.
Mhm. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Did we start the episode? We started the episode, right?
Yeah, we started.
Wow, but we never introduced even what we wanted to talk about. So let's keep it short. We're going to have to keep it to like this last topic here, and we'll just plow through it. But
real quick, wait. You got to tell me a little bit about 6ix9ine.
the rapper? What are you talking about?
No, not the rapper. You know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about. Talking about episode 69.
Well, as much as that's got to be everybody's favorite episode.
Yep.
It's
And the best.
I can't tell you. You just gotta wait.
Really?
Coming attraction. You gotta wait.
You're not
James.
going to tell me.
I can tell you after, but
Okay.
they're gonna have to wait.
Okay.
You gotta keep hanging in here. 69.
It's a deal.
Anyway, so I want to wrap up. Here was the question of the day. Back to I do hope that this thing wasn't too long, that we got to keep the Mr. Beast thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Mr. Beast suggests is that you come in with but again, his formula is not for a podcast. Look at Impulsive, Congratulations, Theo Von's, The King of the State. Look at all these. They don't fit that formula. I also think it's because they're playing a different game.
Mr. Beast, I see.
Dude, most subscribers in the game.
I know, but
that's wild.
Would you consider him a podcast?
No, he's a YouTuber.
I was gonna say,
YouTuber.
he's not a podcast. He's like not that at all.
That's why you can't take what he suggests in its entirety.
Exactly.
One of the things that he had suggested that I think will help, right? So he talks about the title, and it can't just be, I have too much language, rethink, take episode, da-da-da. Well, that's how podcasts are done, buddy. He wants you to keep it short. I'm giving away 6 cars to strangers. That's the title. And then the first thing he says in the video is, I'm giving 6 cars to strangers. And then he immediately goes into giving 6 cars to strangers. So the first thing Mr. Beast says in his podcast, and then he goes, then he goes right into it, gives away 6 cars. What I'm trying to do is start the episode so I can entice you with who's St. Patrick. Then we get into it a little bit, but then you won't get the answer till the end. So it forces them to stay till the end. Dude, we jacked this whole thing up. I mean, listen, guys, I'm just learning. I'm just trying here. But the funny thing is, we went from a 25-minute conversation before even starting to then bringing in the podcast to then getting into nothing that we plan on talking about. Just gotta love Chief Wahoo. And then we go down a baseball convo in sports. And we are just now well over an hour into the podcast, or an hour at the podcast, talking about what we were going to talk about. So, now an hour in, I'm going to ask the question. Mr. Beast is like, you waited a little too long to bring that one in. And I'll be doing the big reveal at the same point in time we investigate the question. Yep. Anyway, silly laughs. This is behind the baseball talk, guys. We're all in this thing together. This is like a community. Back to... We'll introduce for 69 to say I almost revealed too much, but this is a community.
I'm surprised you told me that much.
We're all in this together. I know. I was just about to slip because
I tried squeaking out of you at the
just
right
now
time.
Because you brought it up. I was about to say something, but they're just gonna have to wait. But the reality is, this is a community. Back to the Eddie Bravo perspective. Back to the devil sits across from me and goes, "Will you sell yourself for it all?" Listen, man. I just want to be happy and help. That's it. So even if that ends up being that I'm on a shack on a beach and I'm not in the mansion, that's the move. That's the move. Once you resonate to the higher vibration that we're all just the same entity, we're the universe becoming aware of itself. The only person worth the energy of hating or being negative towards or even aggressive towards are those that are the true aggressors. The person who's a murderer who you'll never be able to fix. But I need you to become that in my world. So when I go to check out at the grocery store, you can be a murderer. I'll have no clue.
Yep.
But if you need to approach every person as you're pure, and it isn't until you wrong me that you will see a side you wish you never unleashed. Be that person. Be the ninja in the garden, right? They say that all the time, or the samurai in the garden. You don't want to open that can.
Yep.
But I will do everything in my power to keep it closed. The only reason that can exist is to keep us all safe, not even myself safe. Myself and my family come first, but it's for everybody.
Absolutely.
The reality is, though, you want to be the samurai in the garden. So, I guess I'm just getting at, it's better to be, just give me the shack on the beach. I'll be a fisherman my whole life. That's fine. But I'm
You'll
gonna
be the
I'm gonna
castaway.
spread the kindness where I can.
Yep.
I'm gonna be at the grocery store buying my bananas, and I'm gonna in Jamaica, and because I'm gonna go live with Ricky,
Shout out Ricky.
my dude.
Love you,
go
boy.
check out Just Another
Love
Day
you,
TV.
boy.
And I'm gonna go live with Ricky, and every person I'm gonna pass, dude. Some of the coolest experiences in life. When I went to Jamaica, and I'm telling you, Jamaica.
Did you go
was,
with Ricky?
No,
Oh,
I just went on my own accord with.
We need to go.
Dude,
I
Ricky,
talked to
I
him
keep
last
telling
time
him.
I saw him. I know because he'll give you the full experience. You know what I mean? You're not going and
But
staying.
dude, Jamaica is. I'm telling you, I have been blessed in this lifetime to experience many different polarizing different countries. And I can say wholeheartedly, I haven't experienced anything, but from what I have, Jamaica is by far the most fun, but the kindest collection of human beings you will find on this planet. Straight up, the humans en masse are the nicest humans you're going to find.
That's awesome.
Straight up. So we did. My family and I took a trip to Jamaica. And
When
it was
this?
by far.
When was this?
This was going into or graduating my junior year of college. So it was either going into senior year or going into junior year
like
of college.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 7-8 years ago.
I said 7
You
years
said
ago.
6, 7.
Okay,
Look,
7.
I'm
8.
old, dude.
Excuse me,
Closer to 8 or 9. I'm trying to fucking.
dude. I'm looking out for you. Okay,
I know, dude. It's getting scary here. Mortality just
You're
flashes.
telling me what? It's okay. 2022. I graduated.
You're telling me, dude. You got
shut
more
up.
time than me. You're 2
Oh
years.
my god, you're a year older than
going
me.
to die.
You're a year older than
You
me.
go, yeah, I'm going to
but
be a
no,
year
okay,
behind you
yeah.
in like 6 months.
But regardless. Okay, next year, bro, I'm 10 years out of high school, which is, I'm sorry, for me, that's crazy to fucking say, though, because I just feel like it was yesterday. Like, it's nuts.
Dude,
It's
time is flying.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me
Falling
how
through your
time
fingers
flies.
like
It's a
sand.
better way to put it. It's just like, to think of me and all my friends. The craziest thing to me is, okay, so I'm a June birthday, okay? So I have friends that are December, November birthdays. So right after I turn that year, they're turning the next year already. So my 21st birthday, boom, I'm 21. A month later, my boy's turning 22. Like, it's like, and when your friends turn a birthday, it's almost like you're kind of flipping the page too. If you're the same exact age as them, a couple months here or there. So it's like every effing year, it's
You're going
like
through it.
just like that. Right after my birthday, I'm looking at the next year. I'm like, damn, well, they're all my friends are 28. Like, just like,
that's
damn.
scary.
And then it's just like, boom, 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 boom.
What a
Yeah.
scary perspective.
It's not a scary perspective. It's
No, you want to know
it's
why?
what happens,
Because
though.
I'm-
It's
I-
what
like,
happens.
When I sit here and Steve and I, grade-wise, are only a year older than you.
No, that's
But
what I'm
Steve
saying.
is much
Yep.
closer to your age than
Yep.
I am. We were the same grade.
But if you think about it, you say much
to-
closer. You say much closer, but how far are we actually apart?
like a year apart.
But
I'm like 2 years older than you.
Yeah, no, but from the outside looking in, if you tell like my grandfather, oh, me and Alex are a year apart, he's gonna be like, you guys are fucking the same exact age.
Right.
Like no one besides me or you is gonna think, oh, they're.
But think about this. We're a grade apart, but we're really 2 years apart. Steve and I are a year apart, and yet we're considered the same age. So to me, it's funny that I'm at the front end of it. So I lived this where, like, of my friends, I was the first to turn 20. I was the first to drive.
Yep,
I was the first to get my
exactly.
temps. I was the first to get my license. I was the first to vote.
So you
I was the
never,
first to,
you never experienced it
right.
like I did.
So
Exactly.
that's
See,
such a
yeah.
new
See, I
perspective on
I
that.
technically could have, if my mom really wanted to, and I was a menace in kindergarten, so she easily could have held me back a year. But I could have, even without holding me back, my birthday in June, I could have been 2 years in school younger than you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, thinking about that too, but
dude.
yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Well, James, here's what's funny. We literally got sidetracked again. And Mr. Beast is still disappointed. Now we're even further into the episode, and I still
Not
even
that.
gotten to the
And
point.
natural causes too, because I have an
All right,
overactive bladder.
Now we got to
know.
be tight to this point so we can wrap this episode up sharp. Let's try to keep it within 20 minutes, maybe.
Amen.
You think possible? Anyway,
Maybe.
Probably not.
No.
try our best. How? So, the question that we're trying to solve in this podcast, which we are starting, kind of procrastinating like your essays were in college, right at the back half, like with a fifth of the time left. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is our question we're trying to solve today is how do we combat the division of bipartisanship? If we want to reach a world where we have more than two options, because clearly these two options don't fit the vast array of different opinions. It's not binary like that. And also, we could go on forever, the political philosophy behind how having a bipartisan system is cancerous to a free government to begin with. A house divided will inevitably fall. Mm-hmm. So, the question is, as James had kind of like suggested to rework the question, is how do we go about making that change? It's so vast. You're a nobody. I want to pose the foundation before you respond, and then we go down this path, that I am a full believer in the butterfly effect, that like you will never move that mountain, but you can move the pebble.
Yep.
And hopefully somebody else sees you move a pebble, they move a pebble. And they also encourage two other people to move a pebble. I'm a believer in the butterfly effect. I've made it clear throughout this podcast, I think a major strength of this human. You lose to a lion. Mm-hmm. You lose to a bear.
Yeah.
You probably lose to some really scary like ostriches and storks too. Like you're not that, you're like just flesh and weakness.
Exactly.
The reason you're at the top, I believe, our strongest tool, besides making tools, obviously, but the significance of the human is its hive. Don't fuck with cats. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, that thing is so...
That's incredible. What
mesmerizing.
You should... Yeah, can you tell the story one more time?
Was that not... Dude, we've talked so much for hours.
I don't know if we were on, but that absolutely
if that made it into the podcast or not, just briefly, Don't Fuck With Cats is on Netflix, and it's about how some psychopath was killing cats. He was putting kittens... he killed a couple cats too, but he was putting kittens in like a plastic and then vacuuming it shut and killing them. It was the most disgusting. Even saying it,
I don't even think I could watch that.
Dude. But you barely. It's Netflix, so that's not the focus. The focus is this guy's got a psychopath. He's got a channel where he's messing with all these different people, and he's trying to see how far he could push the envelope. Well, a couple of the wrong people, or grand scheme, the right people saw it. Mm-hmm. They all band together across the internet and created a Facebook page where they broke down the door handle in the back, the blanket on his bed, every little thing in his room, and every inch of everything.
And they found this
to find that this blanket could only be sold in these 4 countries, and they were able to narrow it down to follow this guy, and they were on a manhunt. And the overarching theme of the story is they find him.
Yep.
And across different countries, he's traveling, he's on the run. Facebook people who never left their living room in America and across the world never left and found this guy on the run. It's incredible. And that's not a fluke. That's not an anomaly. That is, I think, what it is to be human.
Yep.
Our strength is making tools. That's what allows us to grow and evolve. I think it's a catalyst to our success, but I also think the root of our success, what it means to be a human, is the hive. That's my belief. So,
coming together.
Back to this whole thing. How do you look and say that an entire hive of people... No, wait, now I'm ranting. You're supposed to... I just wanted to lay the foundation about the butterfly effect. That I think our strongest aspect is the hive, and that because of that, we're like an ant farm. Like, you're not one ant. You are the ant farm.
Yep.
So I just want to lay that philosophical foundation to pose the question of how do you think we go about taking can't move the mountain. What moves can we make to steal back our liberty and break this bipartisan chokehold?
And that's what I asked you before, and I don't know if you remember me telling you, but I said I think the main problem is the media.
Yeah.
And then we came back to
So elaborate on that.
The media is controlled by what? 3 major sources we talked about. And I feel like they people's minds nowadays are so easily manipulated. And that goes back to pretty much our whole conversation. It's like, will you go against the norms? Will you look at the news and say, no, that's not true? Like, I know it,
Dude.
like it's so hard though, because the masses need to be moved. We're not talking about a couple people here. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people. Like it's not something that's easily done. And a movement like that, you almost feel like something, not like catastrophic, that's not the right word, but
you need a rethink tank.
Dude, you need some type of revolution.
A rallying symbol.
And I don't mean that by violence by any means. You know what I mean? You need some type of like ideal
No, dude.
revolution.
You've had mechanical revolutions, humanitarian revolutions. You've had economic revolution. Like all these different. You can have an intellectual revolution. You bring up media. We'll get to that. You say that we're easily manipulated. I want to make one side note. We're not. Because you can't beat us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm worried about, listen, I will never kill myself. And when I disappear, know it was a van. Like a van picked me up.
Yep.
If I get run off the road, it wasn't because I was drunk.
Smollett.
Yeah, right. Small A.
I'm not suicidal.
So you talk about how humans are easily manipulated. And it's so true. You find how Facebook and so many, what is marketing but trying to manipulate your coding.
Exactly.
Take away your autonomy and your control. Yep. Not even that. Like, I don't need you buying Pepsi because you chose it. I'm going to convince you to buy Pepsi. I read something recently and it's changed my perspective on anything. If it's being advertised to you, it probably isn't healthy for you because they don't need to advertise to you lettuce and, milk and eggs. They have to advertise to you almond milk and veggie burger.
I have a question. What's
Twinkies.
What's the number one thing that's been advertised over the past 2 years?
Tell me.
No, you tell me. You know what it is. What's the number one thing that's been shoved down our throat? Yeah, but what?
The vaccine.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just saying if it's...
Oh, so to my point.
Yeah. He just looks at me and he's like, okay. I'm telling you. If
so
it's
healthy stuff don't need to be
If it's something they have to shove down your fucking throat. Yo, you get a free hot dog and Taco Bell taco if you go get this vaccine.
But you don't have to go outside and exercise and get sun. Just get the magical vaccine.
No, but by
have
the
a
way,
taco.
in about 6 months... all these mandates like United. Did you see that? Oh my God. United just offers all their workers that are unvaccinated their jobs back. Huh. Why?
Because the numbers talk. Vote with your views, vote with your dollars. Vote. Your vote is no longer in a ballot box. And that's fine because I still do choose a capitalist society over a socialist one. And in that world where you got to recognize your government is becoming corporations. So you have to act in a way where your vote, it's not in the ballot box because the corporations already bought that ballot box. Your vote is, all right, Nike, if you keep calling me racist and hateful, you don't even know me, I'm not buying Nike anymore. Guess what Nike's going to stop doing? Yep. Putting Kaepernick down your throat.
Yep.
That's going to stop.
When was the last time you saw a Kaepernick Nike video?
Dude, did you see the recent one where they compared... Dude, this guy's... Go look at Kaepernick's recent big video.
The
him comparing
so hard,
the NFL. He compared the NFL to slavery.
Yeah.
That, look at they measure us in size and... Dude, you're worth millions of dollars. You chose it. You could have been a mechanic or a politician.
You could have been whatever you
chose
wanted.
a quarterback. So he gets to call it slavery, and then another season rolls around, another offseason, and he's talking to the Seattle Seahawks. I want to play. I thought it was slavery,
I've been ready. I've been training. Yeah, to go back into
you vote with your views, you vote with your dollars. So let's get back to the heart of the point: is if you don't stand for this stuff, you cannot give it your attention. So when it comes to like your manipulation, we are being manipulated. I think it's bigger than just, persuasive videos and jingles and stuff on the radio, the news, the TV, your phone. It's more than your iPhone listening to you and trying to manipulate its ads to what you're talking about. All of that. It's bigger than that. It's more than that. So I'm of the belief it is bigger than just, the ads and the listening. Dude, going back to Danilo and how he's crazy, like, I do believe that they're putting stuff in the soaps.
Crazy in a good way.
Right. Oh, trust me. I have nothing but good things to say about him because I don't think more people are tapped into the exercise of getting better intellectually than someone like him.
My sister,
whether he's right or wrong.
No, but my sister, firsthand, my sister doesn't drink. My sister, okay, so she just came in from Maui. My sister lives in Hawaii. My sister, she doesn't drink any bottled water, no tap water. The only water she'll drink is out of this filter. It's called a Berkey. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Dude, you drop solution into that water to show you if it's water or not, and it'll come up as negative. Like, I don't, and not even
why?
That, not even that. You know what else I heard recently, and it doesn't shock me at all. Most water that's in water bottles, this water is over a year old. That's in that water bottle right there. Jesus. Yep.
And you know what we learned in environmental class in high school? That this is decomposing,
that
so you're getting the cancer in it.
It's leaking into that water. Exactly.
You nailed it. Cheers
exactly.
to you.
Cheers.
Exactly. Cheers to you, sincerely.
It's not leaking into the whiskey. To glass bottles.
So, yeah, glass to a man's drink. Here's what's interesting about that, James. Water is a combination of two molecules. Mm-hmm. There are no more ingredients than two molecules.
Exactly, but look in that.
Read
me what's in that. Read me what's in that.
Purified water. Yummy.
First thing.
Potassium bicarbonate, which has been on past waters I've read on here. Do you, the listener, know what potassium bicarbonate is?
Whatever.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Okay.
That's got to be a salt-based type bicarbonate, whatever the hell that is. I don't know what it is, but I'm coming to it for
first of all, hey, real quick, when you think about that sodium, why in something that's supposed to hydrate you, why is there something that dehydrates you?
Right.
Think about that.
Calcium citrate. And then you wonder, like, oh my God, why does everybody have kidney stones and they're peeing rocks? Sodium chloride, more sodium-based, and magnesium oxide. I just read you a whole bunch of stuff mixed with purified water.
Something else for flavor too. And then it's usually I know, but on the package of the 24 or 30 pack that you put,
that's where it's more detailed.
It also says on it, and I know you've noticed this, added enhanced minerals for flavor. Or something like that. Something along the lines of that. Like added something for flavor. You know what I mean? And it's just it's like whatever they can put in this, they're putting in it, you know?
The problem is you don't question it. You just keep moving on. So do I think they're manipulating us in, technological cheat code ways? Sure. But, dude, it's bigger than that. We wear rubber shoes 100% of the time. We're all energy. We're all electricity. You don't think you're supposed to touch the earth at all? Like, there's this whole new spiritual bullshit where you're walking, go barefoot.
Dude,
if you don't think there's something to being barefoot in grass, you're retarded.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say during the summertime, oh my God, when you get off work or when you have shoes on all day.
So you know it feels good.
You take your shoes off and it's summertime and you go outside with no socks on.
So
it's like ecstasy to me. It really is.
So here's what we're catching them on. This is where it's a bigger thing than any of it, dude. The reality is there's a history to us that is totally flipped. It's not just a lost city of magical Atlantis. Like there is a line of human existence that's hidden from us. Why did Hitler go and burn all the books? If you control perception, you control reality.
Yeah, 100%.
Danilo was on here, ironically, the second time he cut his hair. But the first time, did a part 1, part 2, because part 2, he went off the deep end in the conspiracy world. I went with him. Don't get me wrong. We went down the rabbit hole. Which way down he started it off going, women are better in tuned to like, emotions and everything because they have long hair, and he thinks they're like antennas, and they're better at like connecting to the energy. Really? Next time he's on the podcast, he's got freaking short hair, so take that with a grain of salt. But I'm just saying, it's funny.
Did you ask him about it? What do you?
Oh yeah, we had a whole conversation. So go check it out. You got to go check out part 2. Okay. Episode 66. It was hilarious that this dude was on the devil episode. He totally got caught off guard, and I was like, dude, I got to tell you, we're on 66. He was like,
got stabbed by a pitchfork.
Dude, it was by a trident. Yeah. By the trident. But anyway, there's so many layers to this. Some of it's bullshit, some of it isn't, right? Mm-hmm. Like, some people say, put this stone on your forehead, it does this. It also speaks to a lot of it is placebo effect. That's how powerful our brain is. Yeah. There's a good chance that we have a power that's being suppressed. And it's because if we tapped into it, this supernatural-esque, like, empathy of, or what am I trying? I'm trying to think of a good word of describing, like, it's like a radiated impulse. Mm-hmm. Anyway, dude, we have gone. This was supposed to be such a good structured conversation, and we have...
It's been so off script. Anything but on script, literally. To start off, we just started talking. Like, we didn't start the episode till, 45 minutes in, and then you gave the introduction?
And we got even further. Did you think we'd be here? I guarantee you didn't.
I didn't know where we'd be.
There's something about being barefoot. There's something about what we consume. There's plastic in your water. Mm-hmm. There's, dude, how about this one? But back to convenience. What else do we do for convenience, right? Another thing that we do for convenience. Then you have people that go to work every day. They warm up their lunch in plastic. Mm-hmm. That is slowly killing them. It's not that lunch you had today is not killing you, and you're not worried about it because nobody's dropping dead from it.
The thing, exactly.
Little by little. Mm-hmm. So, dude, I think we are nerfing ourselves, and we don't see it. Mm-hmm. You look at somebody who takes that serious because it is an exercise, not by the metaphorical sense of the word. Like, you have to do it every day. You have to remind yourself, like, no. Dude, do you know how bad I want that cheeseburger when we wrap here? You can't have a cheeseburger all the time, big dog. You gotta eat a salad. Yeah. And if you don't work for that, you're gonna get weaker. I mean, dude, in law school, when I'd come home and just sit there all day, joints got weaker. I got fatter. The whole thing just snowballed in the wrong direction. Yeah. That happens only when you are complacent. You got to work for it every day. So I guess what I'm getting at is, there's a lot at work. And when you go, we're manipulatable, I don't think any one of those people, when I look at you and I go, you're a sheep, there's the masses that I'm slowly losing more and more faith in. It's not that they're so deplorable, Hillary Clinton's words, that you can just write them off as irreparable. Mm-hmm. The reality is everybody can be saved, but it's work. If they aren't willing to work for it and put in and see it, it's just like AA, 13 steps and
Why do
you have to choose to not want this anymore?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you think people nowadays, though, especially right now, are so closed-minded and set on their ways?
Because, dude, think about this. How much do you grow talking to another person?
A lot.
How much did you spend your most pivotal growing years out in another neighborhood running with friends? Mm-hmm. We are becoming severely isolated. Exactly. I think it's intentional.
Well, it scares
me. While we're more
me.
Connected than ever before, we are
less
isolated.
Connected. Exactly. And I look at my little sister now, and it's just insane to me. When I was young, my mom got me a cell phone in 4th grade. And the sole reason is because I would go out with my friends in Emerald Woods at dawn. And, I'm talking 8 a.m. we'd be out playing until 9 p.m., 10 p.m. She got me a cell phone just to make sure she knew where I was at. She knew I was out playing, though. Now, it just doesn't happen. It does not happen.
Here's what's scary.
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Dude, but we got totally sidetracked. Your position was this, that how do we get to the base of this problem? You blame the media. We go on a rant about how we are manipulated. It's clear in so many more aspects than just a good ad or whatever's appeal. It's everywhere. And it's the serpent that's always got itself wrapped around you. It's everywhere. I do agree with your point. The media is the moving mechanism that they use to carry out the job. But the reality is, I don't think the end source of the problem is the media. I think they are the fingers to the true problem. Mm-hmm. And I think the true problem is bipartisanship, right? Or it's bigger than that. Because I think both sides of the aisle are controlled by the same entity. When you go, there are 3 companies that own all of our media. Do you think Time Warner, Disney, and what's the other one we brought up? What was on you?
Turner.
And Turner, you think they are going, we are going to silence this and promote this because this is what we think is best? Or are those the orders that are given to them? That's the tool. They are the Does the hammer choose to put in the nail, or does the person who grabbed the nail control how the house is built? Right? So I agree that there's 3 in control. The question is, who's in control of those 3? So I want to get to the heart of the point of, you're never going to just dismantle 2 parties. It's going to be just like the game is, they've taken little by little, inch by inch, slowly move the goalpost. We got to play the same game back the other way, tug of war. So first you go, we need to have 4 parties, straight up. You got to have a Green Party, you got to have a Libertarian Party, the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans and the Democrats will forever be against that. Exactly. Why? Because they have a monopoly on politics. Mm-hmm. That alone should tell you why this is a priority. How do you accomplish something like that? Why do the Democrats hate Tulsi Gabbard? Now, you and I have built a shared praise and appreciation for Tulsi Gabbard. The reality is, the listener, the ignorant human, whoever tells us you're a Republican, you're a conservative. Why? Because we're not Democrat. We're real liberals. So when you look, isn't it funny? The same Trumpers that should be deplored are the ones praising Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat. I think because truly the real human who wants what's good sees how she is the answer. Mm-hmm. The reality is, you need somebody with military service. She's definitely very attractive. She is so incredibly well-spoken, it's incredible. And then that's just the surface. When you break into this woman's politics, she is quite literally the most level-headed and reasonable person available. Is she the best American? We got a tribe of 350 million. Mm-hmm. She is quite literally not. But it also is not Hillary Clinton, right? So when you look at look at the choices we have available to us, James, the system hates her, both sides. Now you got to start being interested. You got to ask yourself why. This woman was the most avid against the Clintons. So the Democrats hate her, but she's a Democrat. Her own party hates her. Mm-hmm. In fact, she has more relationships with Republicans than Democrats. Why? Because she does what's right, not what the party mandates. Furthermore, this is somebody who talks to both sides of the aisle. I will go on for days about how Barack Obama had some pretty bad politics, but also there was a virtue to him as a president, and it was that he was a great speaker. He spoke eloquently, and he was a good representation of the country. The sad part was he, I believe, really reinforced the beginning of this division in our country.
100%.
Because he only spoke to 50% of the country. Mm-hmm. He was only talking to half of us. Mm-hmm. It was not everybody. The other half could just kick a can.
Yep.
And that's why you got this pushback. Mm-hmm. So what I see the virtue in Tulsi Gabbard also is that she doesn't care about the team. It's the issue. What's the best, when we're talking about gun rights or abortion, which both topics have no relationship with each other at all, so it shouldn't be binary. She is willing to vote with her heart and not her party, so her party hates her. Now, I want to cut to a clip real quick that you and I are pretty well versed on, where Tulsi Gabbard's claim to fame is completely destroying Camel Lady, our vice president.
Our wonderful.
I won't say her name right because it somehow became some stupid big issue. And the reality is, lady, I would love to see you attempt to say my last name. Try it. Try it. Dude, I've been called a rat. 2 G's, both silent. Yeah, you nailed it. Nobody can say my last name. Does that make me a victim? Does that make me special? Does somebody need to come hold my hand or I'm oppressed? No, you clown. This is all just social currency and you're exploiting us. You're not a real human being. So why? So hence, Camel Lady. Back to the point. No, the reason Camel Lady had to recuse herself from the election. She was running for president, not vice president. She was running for president.
And while she was running for vice president, also said she believed all of Biden's sexual assault.
Right. Wait, no, we're going to get to that. I'm glad you raised that. Yeah. So why did she pull herself out of the race? Because Tulsi Gabbard absolutely destroyed her. It was funny, before the podcast, I wanted to show it to you. If you go to YouTube and you type in Tulsi Gabbard, top result, next thing is Kamala Harris. If you type in Tulsi Gabbard destroys, hit enter, it takes you to all the clips of her destroying Camel Lady on the primary for the what's also funny, same primary, James, we're not going to show this one. Camel Lady is the one that goes on a huge rant destroying Biden. Same debate. But again, nobody watches the debates in their entirety. Nobody remembers all this stuff, so it's totally forgotten and lost.
But then the irony of it all, it's like she was picked to be vice president for one reason. Because
she's playable. Yep. She's a pawn.
Yep, exactly. This is a minority. So, this is a black vice president.
Yeah, right. We got to get to the
woman black vice president who has no credibility.
Let's cut to the clip. They got to see the clip. Right. So real quick, check out the clip. Then you have some basis of like where we're coming from in the conversation. So real quick,
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response,
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
No,
I
Well,
didn't.
the first thing I said to you about the clip is I just think it's so ironic. She says she created reform. Well, yeah, she created reform, but guess what? Reform can be bad too. And guess what? Kamala? Your reform was terrible. She was.
I also like
as
the
I
point you
talked to
made
you,
is she said nothing.
She said no, but she was
words
talking
to distract you.
Yeah, so
go.
Tulsi calls her out. This woman's talking for 1 minute about nothing. I looked at you and I go, what did she just say? I go, what did she just say? She didn't say anything. The only thing was she created some type of reform, which again I said was so incredibly just terrible. She was putting and she was for the minorities. She was for this, for that. She was putting black dads in jail for over a year for a gram of marijuana.
Boom.
A gram. And then Tulsi goes
And laughs about it.
When she was asked about it, she gave her I did, yeah, bitch, you did that. It's like
So there's two layers to this. The surface is it reads bad. She's just the way she presents it is terrible and everything. But I also love the logical conundrum of her response to Tulsi is Tulsi goes, "You laughed about smoking weed and putting black dads away, taking them away from their family." Her response to being called out to that, while distracting you with flowery language that is cognitively untethered, it literally means nothing. While distracting you with that, what she presents logically is, Tulsi says, you put black fathers away for marijuana while also laughing about the fact that you use marijuana. Her response, well, from all of my experience from doing all of this in my job, doing what's good for the people, I learned that this is a problem. And now I am an advocate against marijuana laws. Wait. So logically you're saying you're now against marijuana laws. Why? Conceding that you what? Enforced unjust laws? Is that what your concession is?
I wouldn't even say unjust. I would say
that's the language I'm hearing, the unspoken words I'm hearing.
I would say just so incredibly unfair, like just
unjust.
I know unjust, but if you say this is
unfair,
like just so incredibly.
What if you said
profound.
I have this new political opinion because what I was doing was unfair?
Yeah. No,
Are you conceding then?
That's one of the main problems in our country, though. All of our lawmakers and all these people are making laws on something that they've never experienced, that they don't know what.
But she did experience. She laughed because she smoked weed.
Yeah.
And she did experience putting these fathers away through prosecution of something she personally partakes in and enjoys. So what's funny is when they look at her and go, you put people away for this, your response is, and now I think it's bad. Wait. So you're admitting what you were doing was bad. If Tulsi's saying what you did at time X was bad, your response is not allowed to be, because what I was doing at time X was bad, I want to take position Y now. Wait, no, the point is that your history was bad.
Do you want to know what my, and sorry to, this, I don't, but, my favorite part of the Biden's State of the Union. I don't know if you watched any of it. Did you?
Actually, I didn't.
Did you see it?
I saw the clips after and stuff
of
such.
This man literally stood up there.
I was at a comedy show, though. I want to make it very clear that that was something I definitely would have been watching otherwise.
This man literally stood up there and said, he looked out at the people and he goes, we all know the answer isn't to defund the police. The answer is to refund the police. It's like, dude, your fucking party painted a mural on the street in New York that's like fucking 300 yards that says defund the police. It was on your campaign website, one of the bullet points. Defund the police. At your first State of the Union, you completely 180 flip. Completely. Like,
now, James, you're so emotionally wired about this. And the reality is, what you miss is we can afford this now because we've saved so much money ignoring bullet point 2. We aren't refunding anybody's college forgiveness, so we got all this money around to fund the police.
How are those college grants going? Those forgiveness grants?
The police.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anyone out there that voted for Biden because he was gonna forgive your college debt, how's that going for you? How's that going?
He's funding the police.
Yeah. No, don't worry. All the money's going to the police that you want to be reformed.
Also under Biden's administration, $50 million to Pakistan for gender study classes. Mm-hmm. But no, you do not get a stimulus check.
And again, sorry, this might be veering off too, but about Ukraine, I guess we can call it stimulus package that Biden just sent to Ukraine that could have funded every single restaurant that went out of business during COVID. Every single business could have gotten $150,000 in relief individually with the money that Biden just sent to Ukraine. $150,000.
Jesus.
All our taxpayers' money too. I'm sure as a taxpayer, I would happily know that's where my money was going, to the businesses that were affected by COVID.
Look at the Barstool Fund.
Happily.
The Barstool Fund. Dave Portnoy did more for the people than our own government.
100% he did. And you want to know, our government hated that he did that.
They hated it.
Our government hated that he did that.
You want to know why? Because we have an infant mortality rate in Detroit that's higher than Haiti. Mm-hmm. So it's all a distraction. Look at Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Pretty money. Now, the reality is it's also trash there. But if we keep it flashy enough and distracting enough, you're not going to look at the fact that Michigan still has poisonous water.
I mean, and I was in L.A., 6-7 months ago? I don't
Homeless people there?
I don't even know where to start. You pull out of LAX. Pull out of LAX. Like, you would think, like, the mayor of Los Angeles, like the governor of California, they'd be like, listen, around LAX, like San Francisco International Airport, let's try and keep it nice. Come on, this is where our tourists are coming through. You pull out of LAX now, there is homeless cities. And when I say cities, I'm talking about like the
2-story,
2-3-story tents that people have built on the side of the road. Like, this is on the sidewalks right outside of LAX. It's jaw-dropping to see.
Can I piggyback off of that?
Jaw-dropping.
Dude, you know what should disgust you? We are now, it's been extended, going into year 3, James. Year 3, where landlords in California will not receive rent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
What about New York? Do you know? I'm not sure.
You're telling me I still got to pay property tax, and I still have to feed my family, and you're not making the unworking bum pay me for the house they're in, and you've prevented my ability to evict them and put somebody in there that can?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That is so anti-American.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
California, dude.
I can't even get started. I never want to go back. And the reason
we need to abolish the
not even that. The reason, and real quick, sorry. The reason I am passionate about California is too because my dad's always worked in the pharmaceutical industry. You know, big pharma. But I lived out there in 2003, 2004, 2005. I saw California back in the day. There was a homeless problem back in the day.
Oh yeah.
But now going there now. It's
another world.
It's another world now. every single highway exit you get off of, the garbage. Like, I'm not even talking about the homeless problem, because there'll be every highway exit, there's 2 or 3 people living on the highway exit. I'm not kidding. There's 2 or 3 people living on the highway exit, okay? Because it's a convenient place to ask for money. Not only the garbage, it is so disheartening to see the garbage there. Dude, it is just piled up. Just garbage and garbage. These $1 million homes, these 3-story penthouses, at the bottom, there's a person begging for money. Like, it's unbelievable.
James,
it's unbelievable.
This is where you have failed humanity, you despicable human. This is why you need to acknowledge, James, that we need to get rid of the Electoral College. Because if we don't allow the big states like California to dictate the decisions of us stupid swinging states on our swings, what are we going to do? Why are we even listening to the bumfuck corn people in Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Ohio. We need to listen to people with trash everywhere.
You know, and then you mean to tell me Gavin Newsom, that was the kicker for me. You're going to tell me this man got recalled and then got more votes
And lost to a black guy in California?
Got more votes and lost to a black
conservative.
But he was a conservative.
I'm sorry, something is believable about that. Dude, I'm sorry.
Then you tell me he got more votes than getting a recall.
Dude, California, all of California is transplant people. Like, dude, if you're in Ohio, it's more likely than not you're from people who are from Ohio.
Yep,
but if you're from...
No one's from California. No one's from California. No one.
So I'm sorry. The people
few and far between.
People that trail like a moth to the calling of California, arguably the intelligence of a moth.
Yep.
Right? So I don't argue. I kind of believe it. I believe. Guess what?
But I will say to this. I know.
Other states, he loses in California.
I know good people and bad people that have flocked to California. So I will say I will.
It's not indicative. That's why
I will advocate for the good ones, because I do know good ones. I do know good ones, but I also do know ones that it's like, I'm moving to LA because I want to move to fucking LA. Like,
but let's agree.
It's like
that only emphasizes why you need to be an advocate for that. That's the case everywhere. That's why you're the ignorant one if you say all men are dumb, all black people are bad, all Ohio people are stupid. When you talk in universalities, you're the ignorant one. So this gets back to a conversation that I had with Steve on the last podcast. You can't talk in universalities. When I talk about Ukraine, I'm not talking about the people. When I talk about Iraq, Afghanistan, Russia, I'm not talking about the people. I am talking about the government who controls the people. So when I talk about the people of California, I'm talking about the politics of California, the people in charge, the government. I'm not talking about a citizen. I could think you have a misguided vote, and I'd be more than happy to bring you on the podcast, have a discourse, maybe won't agree, maybe won't change my mind, but maybe develop my understanding a little bit better. I think we can all learn from each other. I don't want to silence you. I don't want your voice not to exist, mainly because I think my ideas will be yours. So I'm up for the challenge. But I am of the belief that I don't want to change California. The only thing I want is security, knowing that California can't change Ohio. Like, I want to be able to go to my place, be myself. I ain't going to change you, but the whole purpose of the Electoral College is to give places like Maryland, Delaware, Ohio security that this isn't going to be a battle between Texas and California dictating what the rest of us get to do. Because, again, if all these liberals go off about how, look at these crazy laws about Texas, well, that should only emphasize how I don't want Texas dictating my beliefs either. Like, I'm more closely aligned to Texas than I am California, but I'm Ohio. We're a swing state. We go both ways. We think. I want to separate myself from that too. I want to be able to make the decision that's best and not the decision. So the point is, if we don't have an electoral college, it comes down to who outvotes who between Texas and California.
Yep.
I'm just saying, when I talk about California, just to your point about your friends, and I have friends there too, the reality is I'm not talking about the people of California. I am in some ways talking about an ideology that is held by most of the people, but I'm definitely willing to debate it with any of the people that hold those ideologies.
Yeah.
When I talk about California, though, I'm talking about the state laws that could be oftentimes crazy.
Catastrophic.
So I think we need to wrap this up. We need to get to the final thoughts. To answer the question, how do you break this? You raised this before the podcast. This is what I wanted to acknowledge is the heart of the point. Why I think Tulsi Gabbard's the answer. She isn't the answer. She's the beginning of the answer. Too many times I had these conversations with my dad. It's so very clear to the person that you're talking with that, yeah, there's a problem. But what are you going to do? You're not going to move a mountain, right? Back to why you moving a pebble, it ain't going to move the mountain. Back to the butterfly effect. The reality is, if you let them win, if you let them totally embody the fact that it's a wasted vote, it's a wasted vote. You didn't vote for Gary Johnson because it was a wasted vote. You didn't vote for Tulsi Gabbard because it was a wasted vote. They took away your ability to vote for Bernie, so you voted for Trump. They took away your ability to vote for Bernie again and Tulsi, so you voted for Trump. So, but you're the bad guy who hates X demographic. The reality is this, dude. You cannot allow people to convince you of the fact that it's a wasted vote. You only get one if you live it and embody it. I know that back in the day it was this whole thing of it's something you don't talk about. It's something that there's truth to that. There's a lot of value in it. But the grand scheme is you can't be a chameleon, always trying to appeal. You got to be willing to make people uncomfortable. We've been so trained to make people as comfortable as possible that now we're just catering to delusions. So I'm not saying you got to go to every house party and be like, yeah, but then the Russians, man. You don't need to be that person. But also when you're confronted with something, stop putting on the mask of I'm just going to agree with them to get it. This is a Saturday night, May 3rd, 2019. I'm just trying to get through the night. Yeah, dude, we should have everybody call each other Z's or YQPP. Whatever. So you agree because it isn't worth the headache. The reality is now you've made the headache bigger than it could ever be, and it can't go away. How do you get rid of that headache? You vote with your heart. Don't listen to me that Tulsi's the answer. But don't be lazy. Everybody wants a political opinion, but nobody wants to do the political homework. So you also then just can't be involved. If you don't like hearing that, if you don't like that answer, then that means you got to get your ass involved. That means you got to go read. You got to become proactive in this fight. I talk about it all the time on the podcast, goldfish syndrome. The reason we're able to totally distract you from the fallacies and illogical backing of COVID with another World War III is because you have no memory retention. None of this. How many coincidences until mathematically impossible? If you're not keeping track of all the coincidences, you're never going to keep track of the fact that wait, this isn't a coincidence, dude.
Exactly.
So I don't think Tulsi's the answer. But I think if we can start training people Tulsi is never getting the DNC backing.
Do you think any politician is ever going to be the answer, though?
But again, it's not going to be The Rock, dude. So what you do is you take but I'm saying you politician. I'm not picking a movie star either. I'm done with the CBS or NBC talk show host. Just you had your comments about the Ukraine TV host. We had a TV host as president, and everybody revered him or absolutely hated him.
Yep.
The reality is, dude, you need to just pay more attention to the people to the people that the system hates. Crenshaw. Why doesn't the system like him? Because he's got a little bit too much liberal stuff to say for a conservative. Why do they not like Tulsi? Because she's got a little bit too much conservative stuff to say for a liberal. She speaks against the party. She's holding the party accountable. She's never going to get the party's backing. So the right answer is never going to be there because the people who have the monopoly control are never going to hand it to us. They're never going to hand it to us. That means you have to take it. That's how it goes. So, I don't know, man. That's where I leave it. I don't think Tulsi's the answer, but my answer to the question is Tulsi. Because to me, she's the one that my dad would say is the wasted vote. What are you doing? And she's the one that I'm going to put my vote towards unless somebody changes my mind here coming up. Because the message of we're done playing blue and red.
Okay, but I
options.
totally understand that. But how do you feel when you see the election results?
You're gonna lose, dude.
I know,
But also, how about this? How about this, dude? I'm gonna have the number on the screen because I want it fact checked by future me editing
the
in my
fact
basement.
checkers, actual fact checkers,
The real rethink
fact check
checkers.
themselves. Yeah.
I am on the screen now. How many votes went to Kanye West? Okay? That was real.
Mm-hmm.
That was a wasted vote.
I know.
You don't think those people were making a statement in and of itself to themselves more than anything?
I feel like everyone that voted
lesser-
for Kanye that was
if
just
you're
trying to
playing
make
a
like
game,
a
if the-
mockery of it, you know.
Yeah, but if the game you're playing is the lesser of two evils, you've already lost.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge statistics, numbers, folks, out of 350 million, an incomprehensible number. You're telling me the best we got is two terribles, but the less of two terribles? We deserve to have the conundrum when election day rolls around. Damn, these two options are so
amazing.
Good
It's a tough
that I win no matter what. Ask yourself why that isn't your problem. It's not because it isn't possible. It's because the people in control won't let it be, because then they no longer have control. So, do you think we put a cherry on that, Cap?
Absolutely.
Took a long time for us to get to the question. Took a long time for us to acknowledge the question and answer it.
Yeah.
But I think we got somewhere, finally. Took long enough. This is a long one. James, thanks for coming on, brother.
Thanks for having me again. I truly appreciate it.
Dude, I always have so much fun. My man brought the chief. I love it. Anyway,
Long live the tribe.
always, you won't find me at a Guardians game if I didn't make that clear enough. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If we made you laugh, if we made you think, the best thing you can do to support this podcast is share the episode. I'm just saying, you hit that share button. It goes to your Facebook. Send it to your friend. Be like, yo, friend, there's something in here that made me laugh that I think would make you laugh. You should check this out. The best thing you could do to enjoy this show, if you enjoyed it, is share the podcast. Otherwise, guys, you can catch all of our content, all the clips, all the different channels, the Neuro Gym and everything else on our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Follow us on all the other social medias. Don't forget to share, like, just beat the living pus out of that subscribe button. And then,
Give
you
the
know,
1, 2.
you're just beating to a pulp the subscribe button, and then coming around the
don't
corner
click it, then
is the
unclick it,
notification
though.
bell, and you just karate kick the hell out of that one, too. Take it out. Anyway, I appreciate you guys listening. James, my brother, again, I shake your hand because I do truly appreciate you giving me your time. This was a blast.
Problem. As always.
And so, guys, we'll catch you next time. See you in the next podcast. I'm number 69 is. Shake it later. Peace.